Previously on Search and Restore. This GMC was rescued from 17 harsh Ohio winters and began its transformation into a better-than-new 4x4 with rust-free parts, including frame, bed, and new fenders. Today, custom paint, graphics, and thanks to Mario Andretti, an exhaust that goes from this to this.
Like that.
Day 9, and our GMC project is right on schedule. The guys planned this one right, creating several assembly areas so work could get done simultaneously. When we got it, this 94 four-wheel drive half-ton was far from being considered a collector's item, but the truck meant the world to owner Anthony Rowe. He sent in his application for a makeover with the encouragement of his family, and it's a big one, 8 total, with 2 biological kids, 5 adopted children, and even a son-in-law, all of whom are priority number 1 along with his wife Cindy.
I can't say that I think I'm the best father. I think I've seen a lot of guys that I think are extremely great fathers. It's just when my kids will say something just little, or when they give you that I love you, or they want to come in and sit on your lap and watch television or something, that's the things that mean the most to me.
So Tim Strange and our Royal Purple volunteer build team are out to make this truck something special. And for our build leader, that means it starts with block and paper.
What is it with you and sanding?
I don't know. It's just got to look right. Well, Rob, the camera guy, keeps telling us to stop sanding. He doesn't understand what it takes. You think he would. All the time that he's standing right behind that lens right now, laughing at me. He thinks, oh, you sand it once, you're done. They're sanding right over there, too. What do you guys want to scotch brite the floor? Where the bed liner is going to go?
Scotch brining is where you're making little teeny tiny scratches that scratch up the surface just enough so that way the paint will stick to the bottom.
All right, Clarence, why do you get all the crappy jobs?
Ask Tim that question. Where is Tim?
Seriously though, Tim stays pretty busy himself.
We're getting ready to shoot sealer on it first, and then jam it, which is short for spraying all the door jams. And we're actually going to spray some red and some black on it. While we got it apart, since there's no graphics, it runs across the roof. I'm going to go ahead and spray black on that. I talked to his kids quite a bit. They said that their dad liked red, and they liked a lot of black and some chrome.
The two-tone paint job and custom graphics will give the truck an impressive look, but requires an incredible amount of extra work.
If we were painting a solid red, we'd shoot it, all that stuff today. We're going to two-tone it and carry some graphics down the belt line, so it needs to be all assembled so we can get the stripes laid out just right.
Tim knows that Anthony's truck will spend a lot of time in the woods, so he's made sure that the paint is also practical.
We're using straight out-of-the-can colors with no metallic, no pearl, no candy apples. So if he scratches it sometime when he's out in the timber, it's not that hard to touch up.
The PPG colors look bold and vivid, but will look even better after some clear coat. 2 painters are better than 1, but only if they can work without crashing into each other.
Both Tim and I have a background in collision repair and production painting, so you know not to step on each other's hose or bang your hand into the other guy, and when you coordinate, you can really get a lot of stuff done. We're under a deadline with this truck, and there's a ton of work that needs done, so 2 painters, it just gets it done faster.
All right, you got 2 designs for your custom fab roof rack, and you got to vote on which one.
Earlier, Ian just wanted to ask the crew a couple of questions about the roof rack. Who could expect so many in return?
What would be on the floor of that?
How much weight is that going to add?
Does that be too much for that?
What's the support at the front?
Is it anchoring to the bed rails though?
Will that cause a problem when you go off-road, the cabs and the frames flex so much on these? Do you have time to build that?
A lot to chew on, and after the break, cut, bend, notch. Plus later, there's a new boss in the tech center.
Now get back to work.
Day 11, and the paint booth is nearly running 24/7, with pieces going out and others going in. Buying a salvaged rust-free bed was a godsend. Less metal work, plus the old bed gets new life and mock-up. Ian can build his safari rack without worrying about dinking up Tim's precious paint.
Weirdest vehicle that Tim has probably ever built, because he's got basically a street rod paint job on a hardcore work truck. So we're throwing at them some parts that are like you'd see on a crawler. So we got cool headache rack and roof rack. It's really kind of West Coast style, kind of pre-runner look. People call it a Baja basket. Usually the beds are full of all your spare tools and your tires, and you'll put fuel jugs up here and just more stuff that you need, because when you go out in the desert, you got to take everything with you because there's nothing there. So it's kind of cool to throw one on an East Coast truck. It's definitely going to be the only one that you'll see riding around in Ohio, and it really takes this truck and gives it just one more little custom touch. Like, paint's cool, but fab's way cooler.
And what's cooler than adding a little powder coat to this one-of-a-kind piece? Back in Tim's paint booth is a guy you've been seeing a lot of on this build. His name is Jacob Miles, volunteer, paint and body specialist, and wannabe bull rider. This Tennessee farm boy joined the Navy and was chosen for the elite Presidential Ceremonial Guard. From Bristol Motor Speedway to the White House, Jacob presented our colors. After he returned home, he opened Milestone Custom Paint and Body. He and his team have worked on everything from custom hot rods to classic El Caminos to modern muscle.
You know, you've seen us do the body work. Let me go in there and paint something just so it don't look like Tim's doing all the work around here.
He's putting base coat on the outside. He sealed all these parts. We're going to put the panels together and the bed on so we can carry the graphics. So he's doing the two-tone across the front of the bed and putting clear on that. He's painting the inner fender wells, and he's doing the fender flares also today.
It took some effort, but Tim was able to hand over some of the painting to Jacob. But he just couldn't resist keeping an eye on his work.
I could feel those beady eyes on me. It's nice to know that people are watching in on you, maybe seeing how you're doing or just see what kind of job you might turn out. So there's a lot of preparation. I want to make sure that looked real good when it came out.
Every painter seems to paint a little bit different.
Jacob sprays with a pattern like this big, and air pressure just clear bouncing off the truck. You can't even see on his side of the booth. I spray with this nice, neat little pattern and smaller air pressure, and it's kind of neat to be able to see how another guy that makes it look really good when he gets done with it does it totally different to get to the end result, but it all works out. It's pretty cool.
Ahead, some of the major pieces come together, and Tim spills the beans on what we have planned for the Rowe family next week.
It's like one of those amusement park rides with the little kids. You think you're steering, but you're really not. Oh!
Day 13, and it's a big one. When it comes time to make the cab to the chassis, it's a checkmark that really feels good. Then there's the inner fender wells, doors. It's a process that gets some excited more than others.
Yeah!
Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
A little more subdued is Chris, charged with installing a donated stainless steel MagnaFlow catback exhaust.
Normally you can just use band clamps at these connections, but we're going to TIG weld it to make it extra nice.
With it installed, Chris sends the GMC up to the rafters for an inspection by someone who knows a thing or two about high performance.
I think I know who you are.
Hey Tim, how are you?
Good.
Well, you got the whole thing, cat and everything, huh?
Yeah, from front to back. It turned out real nice.
Wow, this is really, really nifty.
Did you ever drive a vehicle with big old tires like this on it?
Just briefly, I had just a little bit of a pre-run at the Baja.
Yeah?
Yeah. But
Just to check
I'm not
that
that
off the list?
experienced. Yeah, just to check it off the list. Yeah.
Done by next week.
Next week?
Yep.
Impossible.
Nope. Well, you got to think about it this way. Some people change tires really slow, but when you race, they get them done just like that.
You got something there, yeah.
This crew we got working on this truck is like putting an Andretti in a race car. You know, it's going to be done right and it's going to be done fast.
You guys really perform miracles. I've heard all about it. If you need any help, just don't hesitate.
Can you paint?
No, I can't paint.
No, we can teach you.
Can,
I'll teach you to paint, you teach me to drive.
I can tighten things.
That's probably not a fair trade, is it? Anthony's real picky about the sound of his vehicles. We've got some tape on him.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that because I saw the tape, and he was not very impressed with what the sound of his truck was, and And so I think MagnaFlook is going to cure all that.
Yep.
I think it's a wonderful thing, and I'm sure that you feel like you're getting back much more than you're putting in.
Yep.
Hey, who are we? Jacob, Clarence. Perry. Great job. Great job. Really wonderful job you guys are doing. Now get back to work.
Thank you.
Great advice from the great Mario
Thanks.
Andretti. But before we do, we hook up our webcam once again so we could spring a little surprise on Anthony and his family.
Hey guys, how you doing today?
Hey, we're all doing really good.
So we gave you a call today to let you know that we've all been working really, really hard on your truck, so it should be ready for you when you come at the end of the week to drive it home.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Do you notice anything behind me? That's all we have left of your truck. He looks a little worried. Look at him.
Yeah.
That is seriously what's left of your truck. See,
oh my God.
See the bed, the doors, the hood, the bed liner? While you come here to town, we've got a few surprises for you. Are you ready? Drum roll, please. Drum roll. So we called up our friends at Gaylord Hotels and told them about you fostering and adopting all these kids. They thought it was really, really awesome, so they decided they want to step in and give back too. So you, Cindy, and all those kids standing behind you are getting to come down here and you get the full VIP treatment for a long weekend at their luxurious Gaylord Opryland Resort in Nashville. You will all get complimentary meals prepared by award-winning chefs, 3 incredible swimming pools, free ground transportation, and a lot more surprises. What do you think about that? And one of those surprises I have right here in my hand, right next door to the Gaylord Hotel, is what? The Grand Ole Opry, and we have VIP passes and tickets for all of you guys. You guys will have a blast at that, though. That'll be really cool.
Thank you guys so much.
Nice. Thank you.
So I guess we'll see you at the end of the week. We got to figure out how all these parts go back together. Hopefully Kevin will remember. So drive safe, and we'll see you Friday.
All right, we'll see you at the end of the week. Bye.
Bye.
You guys are awesome.
Next, the truck is back in the booth for the graphic layout. Stay tuned.
To nominate a worthy candidate, to donate, or to volunteer, log on to searchandrestoretv.com.
Day 15 and complete assembly of Anthony's GMC is well underway. Since this truck will sport a graphic treatment, the body must be locked down solid so all the lines match up.
But I'm thinking this. If you remember the stripe that I put on the side of the hood, it was kind of like that.
Yep.
This is kind of spinning this way. It had that whoop back and forth thing.
So
you hear that? You hear it?
I heard the
Right there. And then maybe about here, start dipping down a little bit.
Bringing the graphics to life on a real three-dimensional surface calls for the process of elimination.
I don't know if that's the right arc.
This buggy right here, bugs Jacob.
If you make this one smaller than the one on the front, just so it kind of tapers back, you know?
Do you like how this comes down this much here? Think that goes up too much?
I think so.
What's the graphic gonna be, dude?
We haven't fully decided yet.
That's the best part, isn't it?
Yeah. It's nice getting free reign and not having a customer say, I want it here and here. We can do whatever we want.
Why don't you do the first one, and then we'll just mimic it and copy it on the other side.
Okay.
It's hard for me to get inside your retina and climb inside your mind.
It's some scary stuff in there, isn't it?
I don't even want to go there.
Just the one color on the body alone took over 2.5 hours to lay out the stripes.
With time and patience, Tim transforms the lines of tape into smooth, flowing curves.
I think I like that. It's enough, but not too much. All right, I'm here to help. What, right here? No. No, we don't shake our paint up here.
I got black.
Here, go weld something. Go weld something.
Maybe it's best to leave a job like this to a professional painter. Jacob lays down a line of PPG silver that'll live at the center of the graphics stripe. After the paint is dried, the graphics are taped up to protect them from the layer of red paint which will be sprayed down the sides of the truck.
Okay, we just got this other color masked. We're ready for the last of the 4 colors. Spray a little black on there. Jacob's gonna paint it. Then we'll let it sit for just a few minutes, unmask it, pull all this tape off for all the stripes.
It's like watching kids on Christmas morning. Everyone feverishly pulling at paper and tape, anxious to see what they've got.
When Tim first told me he wanted to put baby blue as the accent color in these stripes, I both thought to myself, he's crazy, and I looked him in the face. I said, you're crazy, it's not gonna look good. But check it out, it looks awesome.
Now the clear coat. Lots of it. Tim and Jacob spray the first layer. Tim puts on a second coat. Jacob a third. By the time they're finished, the GMC sports 7 layers of clear coat.
I mean, it's going to be the shiniest thing on the block, that's for sure. You're going to be able to see him coming for a mile.
A lot of guys thought it was just a little too mini trucky, too many zigzags and colors going everywhere. Once it's all together and the racks and everything on it, those big wheels and those fender flares, it's going to be over the top, but I think Anthony is just going to totally freak out when he sees this thing. Yeah, now we're going to sand it 7 or 8 more times before we buff it.
Sanding may be tedious, but the crew enjoys spending time with their host, a guy who's earned the name Tim Strange.
Who takes out the trash?
Look, it's so sexy. Oh, look what we have here. Oh, sanding blocks. Oh, I've missed you, sanding blocks.
Yeah, he's pretty strange, but it's been a blast working with him. It's been nothing but a great time with him. But, dude, I can't teach you.
We've got a lot done this week. Been working our butts off. I know I've been sanding enough. It feels like my knuckles are ready to drag the ground. I know you could use some beauty sleep. You too. It's called tonight. Let's come back Monday.
We quitting? Sounds like a deal to me.
Next time on Search and Restore, the crew has 3 days before the big reveal as the truck gets tuned and test driven. Plus, the entire Rowe family visit the tech center to pick up Anthony's pickup.
Woo!